when you were a kid, did you want to be a YouTuber? Did you grow up in that? Or were you still of that you want the old media world, like you wanted to be on radio or TV or?
All I ever wanted to be was Hamish and Andy. And like, it became a bit of a cliche. So I started doing community radio in Geelong, 94.7 The Pulse, 11 o'clock on a Thursday night.
You did Sin FM as well, yeah?
Yeah, and then I went to Sin FM, and that's where I met Connor Rogers because he was doing the same thing. But I loved Saturday Arvo, The Rub on Triple M, and then I loved Hamish and Andy. And then like all I ever wanted to be was them. So I went to a radio training institute, which is the old Melbourne radio school.
You went to radio school?
Went to radio school for 6 months. I sort of floated around after school because I didn't get the greatest data, and Dad was gutted. He was like, oh no, like I thought you were going to uni. I'm like, what am I going to uni for? But he was like seriously worried. So he took me into the...
what were your electives?
So they didn't have drama. So I picked...
You wanted to do drama?
So I picked biology. And then they didn't
natural progression.
They didn't have media, so I did like sports science or something.
Is this in Geelong?
Yeah, it is. Oberon High School, it's where Dangerfield and Travis Boak went.
Love.
That's why you kicked 8 goals, because you just come from good stock.
So, yeah, like I was trying to pursue radio for a little bit, but I couldn't crack into the industry. But I was so determined. I was applying for jobs in Ballarat and then jobs in Swan Hill, had job trials in Terrelgan and...
As in like rural radio stations?
Rural radio, and then you can work your way back into Metro. And I'm like, mate, if I could be the brekkie guy at, Ballarat, I'd love it. But
you say that.
Yeah.
We did live... It is very cold there. Yeah. But yes, go on.
But little did I know, they probably don't want a 20-year-old with no life experience running their brekkie show with not really an opinion people want to listen to.
When we lived in Ballarat, there was a campaign from Power FM, which is the FM station in Ballarat, to convince Pink to come to Ballarat
to Bridge
Mall, which is like where stabbings happen. And they're like, well, let's get Pink here. And it was the saddest thing I've ever... I'm like, she's not coming.
Yeah.
This is peak. Like, is this 2008 Pink?
Yeah,
like,
she's
not
did like
coming.
a rally and there was like 8 people there. I remember there was like lots of signs, but like 8 people there.
Yeah.
No one wanted... Yeah, she didn't come.
So I'm applying for all these jobs in regional towns, and it got to a point where I finished the radio school. I'd applied for all these gigs, and I was sooking to my radio lecturer who worked in at the Fox and in a... SCA, and he was like, look, mate, it's 2016. There's no
Sounds
reason.
like David King.
Yeah, it was. Go on, Cados, you got the king and the queen. And he pretty much said, look, there's no excuse. Like you're sitting on your ass, you're doing nothing creatively. There's so many outlets. There's the internet, there's podcasting and YouTube. And I'd wanted to do it for ages, but I was scared of putting something out and getting no views. So I went to Channel 31 and I thought, I could do YouTube stuff on Channel 31, but then no one sees the views, but you get the tick of approval of getting it on TV. So I was like, I want to do that. But then I sort of realized, I'll give YouTube a crack. And in 2016, that's when I fired it up.
Oh, that's... So a lecturer at radio school said, go on, do online stuff.
I've got the message. He goes... while you're trying to apply for radio gigs, there's no reason why you can't be creative. You're this creative bloke, but you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, going, they won't accept me. No one wants me. He's like, there's no reason to be wallowing in self-pity. Fire it up. And I love that because, as you know, I come from a footy background, so sometimes when you get whacked between the eyes, it hurts. It sort of resonates, and it means you want to have a crack.
Oh, it's incredible to me, and Tom will know what I'm about. So that's the exact same story as us, apart from the uni and the radio school. But we came out we did the comedy festival, and there was we have to get a TV show. That's the only way you can make a career here is to get on TV.
Yeah.
And this is in 2012, and so we started to make content for Channel 31 as almost a reel or a sizzle reel to show to networks to give us a TV show.
Yep.
And while we were doing that, we were we chuck it up on this new thing called YouTube with the hope that, so people can watch it whenever.
It was really so we were hoping that it would help sell a couple of tickets to our live shows. That was,
for sure.
That was the extent of it, really.
And then it became the thing.
Yeah.
It's so, it was, I don't know if you felt this with radio, but sometimes when you're trying, you feel when you're trying different things, and you get no bites. it's real, but you're like that. You think that's the way, and then all of a sudden you try one thing, and there's just so much energy behind it.
Yeah.
Is that how you felt with YouTube in 2016?
Yeah. So the early skits were like on my YouTube channel were very vague, sort of not footy specific, just weird little bits and ideas that I came up with my head, like in my head, and would try and execute. But it wasn't until I made like the footy songs until people really got around them.
How did people find you, do you reckon?
I've got no idea. I think it was Instagram. So someone took my Hawthorn song, which was about them starting 0-4 after winning the last 3 premierships, and it was to John Ballion's all-time low. So it was like, instead of low, it was like 0-4.
Yeah. Weird Al Yankovic of footy.
Yeah. So I thought, so it was the footy stuff, but I remember going on Instagram one day and having like 4 or 5 Hawthorn supporters follow me, and they're like little kids, and it had Luke Hodge, favourite player, year 8, love my footy, and I was like, oh, that's really rogue. Like, I've never had Instagram followers before. And then within like a week, I went from like 300 followers to 1,000.
Yeah.
And I started making story posts like, thanks to the 1,000 for following me, and I was lapping it up. I was like, oh, this is so cool. But what had happened was pages like AFL Memes and AFL Central, I don't know if it was specifically AFL Central, but pages like that started just taking my YouTube videos and putting them on Instagram, which I loved. Like, I wasn't like, this is stealing. I was like, great, people are seeing them. Yeah. So I was checking their pages every day, looking at the numbers, going, I want everyone to see my, like, I don't care if I'm not making money or getting the views. I just want people to see them. So, it was the Instagram pages that really pushed my stuff out there.